Hello everyone! Today we're gonna take a look on an endgame that is a must-know for every chess player, which is the king and pawn versus king. This endgame can be winning for the side having the extra pawn, but it can also be a draw, so it depends on the position that we have. Of course, in this video, we'll be looking at positions where your opponent's king may seem able to stop the pawn, meaning that we're not gonna be looking at positions like this one, where the black king can never stop the pawn, because this pawn is definitely queening. So instead we're gonna take a look on positions like this one. In this position, this is a winning endgame for white regardless of whose turn is it to move. So let's take a look on both cases. If black moves to e8, then the white king would move to c7, and now this pawn is unstoppable. Also, on the other hand, if black moves to c8, you just move your king to the other side to e7, and we call this outflanking, and again this pawn will queen no matter what. So back to this position again. Let's take a look on the other case, which is white's turn to move. In this case, you can just move your king to e6 and then start pushing your pawn. Because if black moves to c8, you can move your king to e7, and now your king controls all the squares where your pawn will be moving, so in this case the pawn is unstoppable. On the other hand, if the black king moves to e8, you can just push the pawn. And if black moves to d8, you can push d7, and now the king has to move away to c7, and then you first get your king to e7, and then you can push e8 to queen. Now let's take a look on a similar position, but in this case, the king and the pawn are one square back. And this makes the whole difference in the world, because in this case, the game's outcome actually depends on whose turn is it to move. So if it's white's turn to move, in this case you can just push the king forward, and now you're winning no matter what. For example, if black goes here, you can just go here, and in this case you reach a winning position for white. But if it's black's turn to move, then black can gain the opposition, meaning that he can oppose the white king, and now white has to make a move, for example king to e5. Now black has to gain the opposition again by going to e7. Black has to be very careful here because, for example, if black instead moved backwards, in this case white can gain the opposition by moving the king to e6, and now reach a winning position for white. So black has to go to e7, and then after d5, black has to go to d7. This is to prevent the white king from moving to d6, because if the white king could get to d6, it would be a winning position for white. So after that, white pushes d6, and then black goes to d8. Now if white tries to make progress by moving the king to e6, black can gain the opposition by going to e8. And after d7 check, black moves to d8. In this case, white can never win, because for every move that white can make, black can draw the game. For example, if white goes here, you could just take the pawn. Or if white goes here, you get a draw by stalemate, because the black king cannot move anywhere and cannot make a legal move. Now I just would like to mention that this is the case for a center pawn. But if this was a side pawn, like in this case, then this would be always a draw. And you can try this out yourselves. So I hope this video was useful for you guys, and hope to see you soon in later videos. Bye bye.